Hello and welcome back to Irma Sofra. Today we're going to be making the queen of desserts. I'm going to be showing you guys how to make baklava from scratch. Beginning to end, I'm going to go in detail on how to make the best baklava you will ever try. When it comes to making the dough, I'm going to talk in detail because it's very important. I have tried so many recipes for homemade phyllo dough, and by far this is the best recipe when it comes to making the dough and when it comes to stretching it out. And the reason why is the eggs. And I want to talk about the eggs because I know I'm going to get comments about how my mom's recipe is the best or my mother-in-law makes the best and she uses 7 eggs or she uses 6 eggs. I only use 2 eggs, and when it comes to the eggs, the most important thing that I want to mention is using organic farm raised eggs. Go to the bougiest grocery store that you can find in your local city or travel outside of the city like we did and get some farm eggs. That yellow yolk is so important. It's going to give such beautiful color to your phyllo dough. And again, we're only using 2. And those 2 good quality eggs is going to be so much better than using 4 or 6 of those regular eggs that you get at the grocery store. So I cannot stress enough, use a really good quality egg when it comes to making your phyllo dough. And everything else is just general. We're going to use some warm milk and we're going to use warm water. That is also very important in helping combine that dough. Some salt, flour, and a little bit of baking powder. Super simple when it comes to making this dough. And then I'm going to use my mixer. You can do this by hand as well. It's just going to take more time. It is a stiffer dough, and all we want to do is make sure that everything is well combined, that bowl is nice and clean. We don't have any things on the side, so any dough is left over on the side, some residue. We don't want that. We want a nice and clean bowl, and you're just going to mix this until everything is well combined, and then I like to leave it in the mixer for at least 2 to 3 minutes, really making sure that we work that dough. After my mixer has done pretty much all the work for me, I'm going to flour up my countertop, and then I'm just going to take my dough out of the bowl, and I'm going to knead that just for a little bit until everything is well combined and I get a beautiful, nice, even surface on top. You guys can see no rips and tears. And then I'm just going to leave this on my countertop 30 to 45 minutes. We're just going to let everything kind of rest and relax before we proceed on to the next step. I forgot to hit record when it came to this part, but all I did was I cut up my dough into 3 large pieces, and from there I cut each of those 3 pieces in half, and then I'm going to cut those half pieces into 5 little pieces, and I hope that makes sense. But in total we're going to have 30 pieces. I ended up having 31 because I think I cut 6 out of 1. I don't know why, but I gave one of those pieces to my assistant and he was happy to work with that for the remaining time that I was making the baklava. So it worked out perfectly. So all we're going to do is we're going to cut these pieces until we get 30 even little balls of the phyllo dough that we need. Now all those pieces that we just cut up, we're going to take them and we're going to make them into a beautiful little ball. You can use your countertop to help you make that ball. You can do it with your hands, and then when you get better you can do 2 at a time, and it just makes the process go by faster. But you want a nice even layer on top. We want these to look like a unified look, kind of like a snowball. Once they all come together, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get them in a nice even line, and then I'm just going to cover them with a clean tea towel and work on our cornstarch mix. So what I have here is some flour and just some regular cornstarch. Now, traditionally they use wheat starch as well. I couldn't find any in my store, but everyone can find cornstarch at the grocery store, so that's what I'm going to use. And then I'm going to add in my flour. The flour is going to help separate that cornstarch. It's going to be easier to use. And then I'm just going to take a fork and make sure that's well combined. So now that our dough has rested for at least 30 minutes, we're going to take our cornstarch mixture and we're going to heavily coat that surface right there that we're going to be working on. And then I'm using a marble rolling pin. You can use a traditional rolling pin, whatever you have on hand. This marble rolling pin, the reason I love using it is it does the work for me. I don't have to apply a lot of pressure. I don't really have to do it that much because it really is heavy and it does an amazing job. So I am going to then just roll one out and then I'm going to set it off to the side and then I'm going to mimic that one. So I'm going to make sure that every single one that now I'm rolling out is that size, and we're going to make 3 batches. So in total we're going to have 10, 10, 10. We're going to have our 30 sheets, but they're going to be in groups of 10. And then we're just going to set those off to the side and let them hang out. You want to make sure, as you guys can see right there, that every single layer has a bunch of cornstarch in between because we don't want these to stick together. Once I've rolled out each one of my groups, I like to just take my finger and write in that cornstarch 1, 2, and 3 so that I know that the first batch that I worked on is number 1, the second one is number 2, obviously, and the third one is number 3, because I need to go in that order when it comes to rolling these out to make the phyllo sheets. I have my melted butter here, and what I'm going to do is once it's completely melted, I'm going to take that white foamy part and I'm going to make sure I remove all of that from my melted butter. This is a very important step so that that doesn't burn in the oven when it's baking. Our phyllo dough has rested for about 20 minutes, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start to stretch it out. Now I'm working with my first batch. I have my aluminum pan that I'm working with. I have a little bit of butter that I've melted, and I'm just going to generously coat that bottom. Not too much, but just for it to be nice and coated. And then I'm going to begin rolling. And like I mentioned before, that rolling pin I was using before is a lifesaver. You guys can see all that cornstarch. I added so much in between each sheet. That's very important to do because we don't want these sheets to stick together. And then I'm going to begin rolling. Now, what my recommendation is to you guys is when you're rolling this out, it's better to check in between each sheet while that dough is small and not that stretched out because it's just easier to separate. I made the mistake the first time that I rolled them out. I rolled it out completely and then I was like, oh, let me take a look and see how my sheets are doing, and they stuck together. So that was an error on my part. So I've learned from my mistakes, and what I'm going to recommend is make sure while your roll is small or while that dough is small, make sure you begin and check in between those sheets, making sure that every single one has enough cornstarch so that it doesn't stick. If it does stick a little bit, mine obviously did in the beginning, no big deal. Just do your best to kind of remove that gently and slowly. The dough is very flexible, so that's really nice. It's really easy to separate. And then you guys can just see here, I'm just taking my time, making sure that I have a lot of cornstarch and just slowly stretching that out. And I'm not even applying a lot of pressure because, like I said, this marble rolling pin is so great to work with. It's such an easy thing to use because it just does the work for you. So again, you guys can see I'm just taking my time separating those sheets, making sure that I have enough cornstarch in between all of those layers. Alright, so I stretched out my phyllo dough, beautiful thin layers. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my clean pan. So the bottom has to be clean, obviously, because we're putting it on our phyllo dough. And I'm just going to take a knife and I'm going to go around the outside of my pan. And you guys will see, you're going to think right now, oh my god, she's wasting so much of that stretched phyllo dough. No, we're going to use that in our baklava. And you guys can see a little hand right there. My assistant is helping me by not helping me, of course. That's what 3-year-olds do. So again, just go around the outside right there and stay calm if you're working with children.
Emma, please, I'm begging you move, please. Go, Mama, go put on it.
Okay, now it's time to assemble. So what I have here is I have my circular phyllo dough sheets that we cut out. I'm going to dust off any of that excess cornstarch, and I'm going to begin layering them in my pan. Now what I like to do is I like to take one sheet, put it all the way to the side of the pan, and then take another sheet and alternate the sides. So I'm going to go to the other side, and then the last sheet, the third sheet, I'm going to do wherever the pan looks empty. So we're going to make a nice even layer of those circular baklava sheets. And then what we're going to do is those pieces that we just cut off, we're going to make an even layer of that. You definitely want to use those scraps because those scraps are going to enhance our baklava. It's going to make it nice, tall, and fluffy. When it comes to working with those scraps, we just want to make sure that we get a nice even layer. So if you see any little thicker parts from that very outside trim of the phyllo dough, no big deal, just cut that off like I did right there. And then we're going to use those scraps and make a nice even layer of those scraps. And you guys, you have to use these scraps. I can't recommend it enough. You might think that it's not going to turn out great, but it will, trust me. Look how thin those sheets are. You could read a newspaper under them. They're phenomenal. Once I've used up most of my scraps, I'm just gonna then take some butter and just gently like sprinkle it over those baklava sheets. And I do that, some people don't do that, some people just wait till the end and they add the butter, but I like to because I truly believe that it separates those sheets when it comes to bake time. And then what I'm gonna do is those now nice, beautiful circular phyllo dough sheets, I'm just gonna stack those in between each layer, just add a sprinkle of butter until you've used up all 10 sheets. And every time you separate and pick up a piece of phyllo dough, make sure that you remove any excess cornstarch, also very important. First batch of phyllo dough is done. Now we're going to work on our second batch. Before we do that though, we're going to work on our nuts. Now I'm using walnuts. You can use pecans, cashews, pistachios, whatever you want. I'm going to add some sugar to that. The reason I add sugar is it coats the pieces of nuts, making them extra crispy when that simple syrup goes on top. All I'm going to do, I've already rolled out my second batch of 10 phyllo sheets and I've already cut them. So what I'm going to do now, I take 2 to 3 pieces. I'm going to add that on top of my baklava, and then I'm going to take half of my nuts, apply that, make a nice even layer. Then I'm going to take a couple more sheets and my scraps, apply that on top of the walnuts, and then I'm going to add the remaining walnuts on top, and then just continue the process, you guys. It's so simple. You guys can see, obviously. And then I do add the butter. Again, that's optional. Some people add butter or some people just do it at the end. Totally up to you. And then I do that with the last 10 sheets. So that third batch, I'm just going to do the same thing. Roll it out, cut it, use the scraps, and then make sure the nicest like 2-3 layers of baklava that you add on top. So make sure you look at your last batch and make sure that they're not ripped or anything, because those are going to be our top presentation pieces. So I didn't show you guys, but I added my last batch of phyllo dough sheets on top. So in total, we have 30 beautiful hand-rolled phyllo dough sheets. I am like so proud of myself whenever I finish one of these baklavas because it is time consuming, but wow, the outcome is absolutely phenomenal. You're gonna take a really sharp knife, and oh, as you guys saw before, I do take a damp paper towel and I just go around and clean my pan, making sure it's nice and clean before it goes into the oven. And all I'm gonna do here, you guys, is I'm gonna make just a traditional design. You can cut these however you like. I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. I have not mastered that beautiful star shape, diamond shape. I don't even know how to call it, but I have not mastered that. You guys see, especially in Kosovo, that's very popular, in Albania, in Turkey. I can't do it. I don't know what it is. I think it's because my pan isn't that big, but I will master it one day and then I'll show you guys. But I do love this style baklava. I don't know the Turkish name to it, but it's my absolute favorite, and it's a pretty large piece, so I don't feel bad. I can say I only had one piece of baklava even though it's massive. All I'm gonna do is take remaining butter, add that on top, and we're gonna bake this for exactly 2 hours until beautiful and golden brown. 2 hours, you guys. Don't put up that heat higher. We really want this to be nice and crispy when it's done. And roughly 2 hours later, we have a beautiful golden brown baklava. The house smells amazing. I mean, just looking at this, I'm just like patting myself on the back because I cannot explain to you guys how it's not hard. I don't want to say it's hard. It's a little time consuming, but the results are absolutely phenomenal. Look at those layers. I mean, every single layer is there. It's visible. You can like separate them. Phenomenal. We're going to let this hang out for roughly 5 minutes, and then we're going to add our cooled off simple syrup. Remember, it's got to be cooled off, and you guys add as much or as little as you like. You'll see in the video here, I end up not adding all of the simple syrup because I'm not into overly sweet desserts, but it's totally up to you. Add as much or as little as you'd like, and then you're going to let this cool off completely. I know it's hard, but you're going to try. Let this cool off completely before serving it. I put this in the fridge as soon as it was cooled off because I didn't want to look at it because I knew I was going to dig in right away. But look at that, you guys. Look at those layers. Like, out of this world. Out of this world. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. Please be sure to like, comment down below, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I will see you guys next time. Thank you for watching Irma Sofra.